India is divided in 5 physiographic regions. The northern plain is one of those. Northern plain is also called Satluj, Ganga, Brahmaputra plain because northern plain is formed in trench by the deposition of alluvium by Satluj, Ganga and Brahmaputra. This northern plain has further been divided in 5 subparts. Number 1, Punjab plain or Satluj plain. Number 2, Upper Ganga plain. Number 3, Middle Ganga plain. Number 4, Lower Ganga plain. And number 5, Assam plain or Brahmaputra plain. Today we have to focus our attention on the Satluj plain or Punjab plain, the map of which is drawn here on board, and first we will study its location. Its astronomical location is from 27 degree 39 minute north latitude to 32 degree 30 minute north latitude, and its longitudinal extent starts from 73 degree 5 minute east longitude to 77 degree 36 minute east longitude. Now its geographical location. Geographically it is located in the northwestern part of India, and it lies in especially 3 states. Number 1, Punjab, 2, Haryana, and 3, most part of Delhi Union Territory, and it has been largely formed by river Satluj and its a number of tributaries. Thus its geographical position may be defined by the Shivalik in the north, river Jamuna in the east, and Rajasthan desert or state boundary in the south, and on northwest the political boundary with Pakistan. Here area of this plain is 95,714 km square. Punjab, Haryana and most part of Delhi Union Territory is covered under this. Hence its large part is of Punjab state, hence sometimes it is called Punjab plain, but it is largely drained and deposited by Satluj and its tributaries, hence it is also called Satluj plain. Now let us study its geology. Geologically, although the plain appears that it mostly consists of the newer alluvium by the Satluj and tributaries, but if we go in deep in geological past, then geologically it is a varied region. For example, lower Kudapa rocks like granite are found in the southern part. This is Punjab and Haryana state. In the southern part, as we know that the northward extension of this Aravalli ridge is found in the southern and southeastern part, and in Aravalli there are Archean gneiss and Kudapa gneiss. Thus here Kudapa gneiss and granite are found in the southeastern part, means the oldest structure. Now the second one is quartzite rock north of Alwar, Rajasthan state, along the southern margin. If we see here in Rajasthan, along the border of Rajasthan, as we know that the Rajasthan is largely made up of Indian plateau, hence rocks are very ancient quartzite, and those are somewhere exposed along the southern margin where there is thin layer of Rajasthan sand dune. The third structure or geology is tertiary formation along the southern foothill of Shivalik. Here it is Shivalik mountain, and along its southern foothill the tertiary formation means the Himalayan structure largely predominated by sandstone and gravel is found here. And as we know that the northern boundary has been demarcated by 350 meter contour line, and this contour line separates the Shivalik in the north and this Satluj or Punjab plain in south. Thus, here this is natural boundary Shivalik foothill 350 meter contour as well as political boundary also, because to the northeast of the Punjab it is Himachal Pradesh, a political state that was previously part of Punjab and part of Pepsu, but after independence this Himachal Pradesh was separated on the basis of this 350 meter contour line. And the fourth structure is alluvium in the central part. This is the central part of Punjab plain. Here it is dominated by the alluvial deposit, and this alluvium has been brought down by the rivers coming from the Himalayan and especially from the Shivalik system, and that alluvium has been deposited at the foothill and further southwest. Thus, there are four structures. Number one, here the granitic structure, here the old quartzite, and here the alluvium of two types, older alluvium between two rivers and newer alluvium where every year there is flood, and the fourth is the Shivalik structure. Thus, geologically it is a diverse region. Now, let us study its relief or topography. As we have seen that although this is plain, depositional plain by the alluvium, even then some topographic variation is found from one corner to another. For example, in the northeast we are seeing that it is foothill of Shivalik. Thus, topographically and structurally it is different and it is mountainous terrain. Likewise, in the south, in the east, although it is river Yamuna that separates this Punjab or Satluj plain from Upper Ganga plain, but eastern boundary is located on the north extended Aravalli system, that is higher than the western part and eastern part. This is a ridge. That the southern foothill of Shivalik is higher. This eastern part Delhi ridge is also higher, and in south where Rajasthan plateau is there near Alwar, it is also higher. It is structurally higher, as well as here there is thick deposit of the sand dunes, hence its height is more than the remaining present part, and that's why about 213 meter contour line passes through the middle of this Punjab plain from east to west. From here to here 213 meter contour line process, and Delhi is about 200 meter from above the sea level. Thus, the middle part is lower, while going northward, southward and eastward the land is higher. Thus, there is topographic variation, and this plain is of saucer shape, and that will help If its shape is clear, then it will help us explaining the winter rain by the western disturbances. Because in climatology of India, we have studied that generally winter rain in northwest India, including Jammu Kashmir and Punjab, is caused by western disturbance. What is western disturbance? During winter season, the upper atmospheric wind descends down. When it descends down, it becomes warmer, becomes thirsty, but it cannot rain. But here in plain during winter season, if some water is available, then that thirsty descending air, western disturbance, gets moisture from land, and as it is forced to rise in north, in east, in south, because of the increasing height, the temperature decreases, condensation takes place, and rain occurs in the winter season. Why the western disturbances descending get rain? How they get moisture? Why they get moisture? Because during winter season, this area is covered with wheat, rabi crop, and that wheat crop is being irrigated intensively. That's why this field supplies moisture to the upgoing air, which causes rainfall in the saucer shaped Punjab or Satluj plain. Now, after studying its structure and topography, here we have to study some microtopographic features, because in entire Gangetic plain there are two main lands sub-topography. Number one Khadar, number two Bangar. In the same way, here in Punjab plain also there are two micro landforms. For example, sand dunes in the interfloop basins, also called Bangarland or Dahiya or Nardak. Suppose this is the Punjab plain and these are the rivers. Between the two rivers, this area is called interfloop, where there is thick layer of sand dune and the flood water cannot reach every year there. That's why this land is called Bangar. It is also called Dhaiya, and it is locally called Nardak. And why this develops here? Because of its proximity with the Rajasthan desert. From Rajasthan desert by southwest monsoon, a large amount of sand is carried and it is deposited in these interfloop areas, and the southern boundary of this Punjab and Haryana states are demarcated by the line of sand dunes. And the second topography is here the flood plains, also called wetland or wet. For example, these are the rivers, and in these rivers every year flood water crosses the bank, and that flooded area is called Khadar, because new alluvium is deposited along these rivers, and this term is also used in here Gangetic plain. Khadar or Tarai is the area where flood water each year and frequently covers. Thus, this is the bed, and bed is a technical term that is called also wetland along the river, and the area flooded each year is called bed. The widest width of river Satluj is present here, and this is about 10 kilometer wide, and nearly the same width is of the Ganga flooded valley, about 10 kilometer in Allahabad. Thus, it is locally here called wet, and small rivers are called chaws. For example, here in from Shivalik mountain, several small rills, gullies and tributaries originate which cause vertical erosion, and these are called chaws. If we see its topography, then it is unique saucer shape. And after topography, let us have a glance of its drainage, as it is clear that here it is river Ravi, and Ravi forms border along Pakistan and this Punjab state for a longer distance. Then here it is river Beas. Beas originates from Rohtak Pass in Himachal Pradesh, and a dam named Pong Dam has been built on it along the Shivalik range, and then enters in Punjab state, and the left hand tributary of this Ravi is Black Bean, and it is here Shivalik foothill having boulders. Now the next very important river is river Satluj, originating from Tibet and then coming in the Himachal Pradesh state, and as it reaches near this Shivalik, a dam has been constructed named Bhakhara Dam, and reservoir Govind Sagar has been also constructed. If you observe minutely the direction of this Govind Sagar reservoir as well as the Pong reservoir, the direction of two is from northwest to southeast. This may be asked for the explanation in UPSC. Then you will explain that the direction of these two reservoirs from northwest to southeast, its main cause is the direction of the Shivalik range. Now the river enters this Punjab plain, and on it a Nangal Dam has been constructed, and Nangal has a fertilizer factory also. A railway line goes up to here, and Nangal is very important place. And from Nangal, this river moves westward. Its right hand tributary is White Bean, and both this Satluj river and this Beas river meet together near Harike. At Harike, to control flood water, a barrage has been formed. Very important to remember that there are two vast barrages. Number one, Harike in the western part of the Gangetic plain on this Satluj and Beas, and Farakka in Murshidabad district, West Bengal, on river Ganga, and both are large wetlands. This has also been declared wetland, hence managed, and its main purpose is to control the flood water of these rivers and to manage it for the irrigation of the western India. And from Harike barrage, a canal named Rajasthan Canal or Indra Canal has been taken out, which runs nearly parallel to the border and supplies drinking water, irrigation water for Punjab state and especially the Rajasthan state. And from Fazilka and Firozpur, this canal passes southward. It is noteworthy that when Satluj comes along the border from here to here near Fazilka, this Satluj forms international boundary between Pakistan and India, and at last this reaches in Pakistan to provide drinking and irrigation water. And this is the Indra Canal. Why the direction of Indra Canal is from northeast to southwest. You can give its answer because here it is Aravalli raised part, and that's why if water will move from here naturally, it will not reach on the ridge or higher part. It will also not reach in the sand dune, rather it will naturally turn southwest. That's why the engineers have planned to dig this canal from northeast to southwest. And next river is here Markanda and its tributary Saraswati, and both are ephemeral rivers, not perennial, because these don't originate from the Himalayan glaciers, rather these are rain fed. It is assumed that before the rising of this Aravalli here from Yamunotri glacier, river Yamuna used to originate and move westward. From Gangotri glacier, Ganga used to originate, moved westward. Both in beginning moved westward, and both here used to meet and called Saraswati. That's why the Saraswati is found in Haryana, and that is the paleo drainage or paleo channel, because on Saraswati, which is also named Ghaggar, there is paleo channel study. Today the Saraswati is supposed to be at Allahabad at the confluence meeting point of Ganga and Jamuna, and we worship goddess Saraswati here. But as in our Vedas, it is written that Saraswati was west flowing. Now Saraswati at present at Allahabad is east flowing, but in the past Saraswati was supposed to be west flowing, and the present paleo channel researches explore and tell about this. That's why it is assumed that this Markanda was originally river Yamuna, and this was originally river Ganga. Both used to meet here and then Ghaggar, and this now dries up in Talwara Lake in Rajasthan. But these were the paleo channel or paleo drainage segment of the Punjab plain drainage. Thus, this is about the drainage pattern and system. One important thing is that here is Chandigarh. Chandigarh is at the border of Himachal Pradesh and Punjab. You will have its clear location, and here along the eastern border river Yamuna drains from north to south. Its right hand tributary is river Somb, and if there is question whether the water of a river in Punjab or Satluj plain reaches in the Arabian Sea, or that water reaches in the Bay of Bengal, then to generalize, a student will answer that the general slope of Punjab plain is from northeast to southwest. Hence, the water of rivers or single raindrop water of Punjab plain will reach in the Arabian Sea. But answer is not perfect, because the river Somb is the right hand tributary of Yamuna, and this water of Somb reaches Bay of Bengal through Yamuna and Ganga system, and here it is the Delhi Union Territory, and to its west it is Najafgarh Lake. It is also very important water body, supplying potable water to Union Territory persons. And one important thing is Sahdara. Sahdara is क्या लिखा है?
Sahdara is in Punjab.
This Sahadra of Delhi is located in Punjab plain, and Sahadra lies to the west of river Jamuna, and Jamuna cuts Delhi Union Territory in two parts. Thus, this is the description of astronomical, geographical locations, geological formations, and topography and drainage. And on the basis of this map, we will have further study of the population distribution, settlement distribution, agriculture, canal, and agroclimatic regions.